Are you thinking of moving to the Roseville area but curious on what the biggest safety concerns might be? Well, stay tuned because I'm about to go over them right now. Okay, number one biggest safety concern in Roseville, California, in my opinion, is Kitec plumbing. What is Kitec plumbing? Well, PEX piping is a type of plastic piping. Around the early 2000s, late 90s, there were several developments or subdivisions that were built with this Kitec, which is a brand of PEX piping. Now, it has been known to be faulty. It's not necessarily a deal breaker, but it's something you might want to consider because they become brittle over time. Just something to consider when buying out here. Make sure to ask your realtor if the house has Kitec plumbing or not. Number two biggest safety concern in Roseville, California, electrical hazards. What I'm talking about mostly is going to be the old knob and tube wiring or the Zinsco panels. So Zinsco in the 60s and 70s were these panels. Pretty much every house, older house in Roseville has them. And they have been faulty, there have been some fires. It's not every house. My first house I purchased had a Zinsco panel, and we didn't change it. So it just kind of depends. You definitely want to have an electrician look at your panel though. Number three biggest safety concern of living in Roseville, California, rodent and insect infestation. Sometimes if you don't have the attic or crawl space properly secured, you will have little rodents or mice to deal with. If you live close by fields, there's a lot of walking trails in Roseville. You may have that. We also have termites because you have a lot of wood trim on the houses. So those are just kind of the main things to think about. Number four of the biggest safety concerns in Roseville, California is mold or mildew. Now, this could be pretty much anywhere in the United States, but we will have some types of mold depending on how long the house has been vacant or if everything's been closed or if there's water damage. So that's just something that if you are concerned about that or maybe have some breathing issues, definitely check out and get your property inspected, get a mold inspection. Number five of the biggest safety concerns of living in Roseville, California, asbestos. So pre-1980, about 1978, houses will have those popcorn ceilings, which have been known to have asbestos in them. And that's something that you want to get professionally taken out. But other than that, some people just paint right over it, and as long as it isn't disrupted, it's usually okay, but that can cause a safety issue in your lungs, so just look out for that. All right, here's a bonus for you. Number six, cracks in structural integrity. So we actually have a lot of houses that are on a concrete slab, so not on a raised foundation. We do have some that are on raised foundations, and those are the ones I'm referring to. Some of the houses built in the 50s and 60s. We do have some as early as 1920. But not very common. So when we're talking about structural integrity, we're talking about houses with raised foundations that could have cracks or some settling. Our soil overall in Roseville is very solid. We don't have tons of settling issues and tons of structural issues. So it really just depends on the age of the house and if it's on a raised foundation. So if it is, make sure to get the crawl space looked at. So these safety concerns are just one piece of this guide that I put together specifically for you, the ultimate guide to moving and living in Roseville, California. You can find out more about Roseville house prices, the neighborhoods, the schools, all of these things. Download it now, the link is in the description. Plus, if you have any questions or are considering moving to the area, just shoot me a call or a text, we got you covered.